Hi, I'm Dave Weckl. Welcome to the video. What you just saw was hopefully an example of what Walfredo and I are going to try to do in part one of this video, which is give you some examples and show you how we've come up with ways of working together as a drummer and a percussionist. It's always been a mystery for me as to what to play when there's a percussionist present, because I'm so used to playing without one. It's always up to me to create all of the forward motion parts, and therefore it can become busy and there can be a lot of things that go on. But for me, I feel a lot of that has to happen for the forward motion of the music to take place. But when working with a percussionist, it's a different story. As a drummer, you have to learn how to play a lot less, observe what the percussionist is doing, and work together so that both parts can become one. So this is what we're going to try to do with this video, is give you some examples of things we've worked out and that we've come up with. And it's been a lot of fun. We've been working all week, and I'm talking about Walfredo Reyes Sr. I'd like to introduce you to him, and he's going to explain a little bit about his concept as a percussionist. So, Walfredo Reyes Sr.
Thank you, Dave. The application of percussion rhythms to the way the drummer plays has been the raised question today with all drummers and percussionists. And in my case, I apply Cuban rhythms and rhythms from the Caribbean. Other players may use other rhythms, it depends where they're from.
Okay, so like I said before, we're going to try and take you through a lot of different styles, and the first thing that you're going to hear and what we're going to do is straight eighths. So here we go. Okay, so in a straight eighth ballad situation, for example, just go through some different things of what we might play. If I played this groove, for example, what would you play? 3, 4. Cool. So in this particular situation, basically what I was looking at, as far as Walfredo was concerned, if he's going to play a cabasa time part that's consistent, there's no reason for me to double that on the hi-hat. In other words, if he plays 16th notes, a 16th note shaker part, or a cabasa part, like that, there's no reason for me to go. Same thing. Now, if I were to do something like that, I might play part of it, or play what I was actually doing in the demo was only playing quarter notes. Try it again. 3, 4. Yeah, so he's creating the motion, and if I were to double it, I would be very dynamic and add different accents to it on the hi-hat part. 3, 4. Yeah, so the more he lays out with the cabasa part, the more I would try to fill it in. But I'm trying to be very conscious of what he's playing so that it doesn't get in the way. Now, if we were to go to a heavier backbeat situation, where it was maybe a continuation of the same type of groove, then see what you come up with then. If my part was this, 3. Yeah. So, were you using any specific Latin?
Yes, actually I was, and that's a more like a montuno beat, Latin beat, you could call it. But actually we could use a rock beat that on the conga drums.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we get into like a straight rock situation?
Okay. Tempo?
1, 2, 3.
And that was again a Montuno part.
Yeah, more of a rock kind of bass line on the conga drums.
Right.
Which simulates the Afro conga drum. So it's taken from basically from there.
Right. And for me, if he's going to play a lot of conga drums, then I don't need to be playing a lot of tom-toms. For instance, if I was playing by myself, I might play a part like this. But there's no need for me to do that if the percussionist is already playing a lot of motion on the low end of the set. So that's when I would stay on the high end of the set. Right?
Correct.
Great. So what we'd like to do now is actually cut to a piece of music that we recorded with the band, kind of covering this style, singing the ballad situation, different colors, and then a heavier backbeat type of thing. So here it is.
Вот эта пьеса, рок-баллада. Фанк-роковая основа.
So you were mentioning before too, in a rock beat or in a funk beat
В рок-бите
type of
или
contemporary thing,
фанк-бите
you
в
could use a
современной
very
манере вы
traditional
можете использовать
cha-cha
вполне
beat, right?
традиционный
On the
чача-бит,
percussion.
да?
Yes, one of
Да,
the
одним из наиболее
basic
популярных
rhythms
на протяжении многих лет
that has
является
been
ритм
very
чача.
popular
Он
through
очень
the
хорошо
years is the
сочетается в
cha-cha rhythm.
качестве
And
бэк-бита с
they
рок-битом.
have
Тут
combined
ровные
that a lot
четвертые
with
ноты, которые играются на
a
коу-белл.
rock
Покажите нам,
big
пожалуйста,
backbeat.
свою
It's a
партию.
very straight ahead 4 quarter notes on the cowbell, and
Play it. What's it?
it's a very simple
Show
rhythm.
us what your part
It'll
is.
be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
And to that, I could either play
Тут я могу играть,
what's the
понятно,
very
что
obvious,
в
which is
двойном
a
размере или
double
в
time,
половинном. Я приведу вам пример.
Half-time.
По
or I could go
ощущениям,
half
как можно
time.
заполнять,
Right.
как вам
Let's do some
хочется.
examples
Your
of that.
feel. Actually, whatever you want to play.
Right. Go ahead. You start.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, now what I'm trying to do actually
Я
is
стараюсь
I'm trying to listen to
делать вот
his
что. Я
conga
стараюсь
part
слушать его
and
партию
basically fit
бонгов
in
и просто стараюсь
in
вписаться,
between.
дополнить. Мне нет
Because it doesn't make
смысла
any
играть
sense for
вот
me to
так,
play. Because that's what your left hand's doing.
поскольку это
Right.
делает ваша
So I was
рука,
trying to fit
правильно?
in with the eighth notes. Play your part again. I'll show
Я
you.
стараюсь писать восьмые ноты. Я сыграю еще раз.
Great. So in a
Насчет фанка.
what about in a more
Медленном
funky
темпе,
situation
может быть,
in a
что-то
slower
ориентированное на
tempo,
ритм
something
блюз,
that's
что-то вот
I don't
такое.
know, it's kind of R&B oriented maybe, something that's maybe like this.
You notice that I
Вы
took off the
заметили,
conga
я
drums
убрал
because
линию
you
гонгов,
had the
поскольку вы
leading line,
проводили
the
эту
punch
ведущую
line,
партию. А я
and I
просто
just fit
дополнял
in
ровными
just the cowbell
четвертыми
straight
на
ahead
коу-белл,
4
чтобы
just to mark
подчеркнуть ритм.
that time.
Right. And by the same token,
Я
when I
тоже
noticed
обратил
that he
внимание,
wasn't
что он
playing
играл
any
на
congas,
бongах,
it
и
was
уже
up
от
to
меня
me to create a
зависело,
little
как
more
создать
motion
движение за
with
счет
the
работы
foot
ног.
part,
У меня
and
была
I could have even
большая
gotten a lot busier
большая
and played
загрузка на
more
том-томах.
things with the
Показывает.
tom-toms like this, 2, 3. Okay, so
Вам
again,
нужно
you
рассчитывать
got
на
to use
свой
your
слух,
ears, you
когда
know, to be
вы
able to
пытаетесь
just try to
соединить
work out
партии
the parts
барабанов и
together
перкуссии
so
воедино.
that you can work things
Вот
out.
еще одна
This is
пьеса
another tune
с примерами того,
with an
что
example,
мы делали.
examples of kind of
Это
what we
ближе
did,
к фанковому стилю,
more in a
ритм-блюзу,
funk style,
переходы с одного на
R&B,
другого. Вы увидите по ходу пьесы,
kind
как
of
мы
switching back. And you'll see in
переходим
the
от
tune that we
ровных
switch back
восьмых
and
нот
forth
к более
from an eighth note
подвижным
thing to a more
рисункам из
busy
16
forward
нот.
motion
Итак,
16th note
Вот
type
оно.
of pattern. So here it is.
Shuffle funk, hip hop.
Now let's take, for example, a shuffle funk
Ритм
groove, or
shuffle funk.
what might be more
Возьмем,
commonly known as a
например.
hip-hop
Или
type of groove,
он
where
более широко известен под
the
названием
groove and
хип-хоп.
all the notes
Тут все
become
ноты
very
являются с ориентацией на
shuffle-oriented.
шафл.
Instead of playing
Вместо
16th
16 нот
notes or
или, скажем,
strict,
ровных восьмых,
maybe an eighth note, the rhythm becomes
ритм
more
ориентирован на
triplet-oriented.
триольную основу.
Okay, is the underlying current. The triplets are the underlying
Триоли
current. So
служат
everything that both of the
барабан
percussionists and the
все
drums
держат
play in this
этот
type of
ритм.
groove, for the
То
most
есть,
part,
когда мы
when you're
говорим о
talking about
создании
grooving,
ритмической
all those
канвы,
notes have to be
характер
the
всех
same.
нот должен
Right?
быть одинаковым.
We
Мы
can't
не можем
stretch any of
растянуть триоли,
the
перевести их в
16th,
ровный
the
бит.
triplet things to straight, unless you
Если,
intend to
конечно,
play a
вы не
groove like
играете
that,
именно такой
where it's
ритм.
in between and
Или
you're
если вы
trying to play.
пытаетесь сделать подобные вставки в тривольную текстуру.
Yeah, and those grooves are fun to
Такой
play,
ритм
but those are
очень
really
интересно
hard
играть,
because
но
you're
и
in
очень
between
непросто,
the
поскольку
16th note
вы
and the
делаете
triplet.
вставки
Now, if we're going to do like a
16
hip-hop
нот в
type
основную
of thing
триольную
where it
канву,
is
играете
strict,
смесь. А теперь
shuffle
ритм
kind of
хип-хоп,
rhythms,
это
where
ритм
it's more
типа
like
шафл.
this.
Это моя
This was my
партия,
part.
чтобы вы могли
What would you come
сравнить.
up with, right? Yeah, so everything that we were playing and everything that I was trying to do was locking into that triplet type of thing. You have anything to
And you
add to that?
notice also that I always try to listen to your fill so I won't end up in your downbeat. Like if you do a fill, boom. I try not to go and come in on that downbeat like you have it.
Right. And by the same token, if I see the percussion, if I see Walfredo going for a fill, that's when I stay out of it. And I just play time and realize that I can't be going. You know, we have to make sure you're listening to each other and play around and make it interesting. Don't step on each other all the time. It's about listening. And
If not, it's a war.
yeah,
Всё дело в
right.
It's an
слухе.
earthquake.
Если этого нет, это война, это землетрясение.
Anyway, here's another tune that kind of describes and shows, or another example, I should say, of this kind of tune and this kind of style. Shuffle funk, hip-hop, triplet feel. Here it is. In this section, we'd like to discuss Latin rhythms. This has always been a mystery to me, what to play when the rhythm is Latin of any kind, when there's a percussionist involved. So this has been very educational for me as far as learning what to play. But then from the basic standpoints of what the grooves are, Walfredo has shown me a lot of things, we've taken them and developed them into some different, what we consider new things anyway for us, because we're kind of mixing old tradition with new contemporary type of feels. So we'd like to start with an old Cuban rhythm called danzón, and Walfredo will explain what that is.
The danzón is an old Cuban rhythm, and we have just put it together. I'm going to be playing the timbale part, and Dave is going to be improvising on it. This timbale part is called baqueteo, which means sticking, which is on the timbales. So here goes.
Начинаем.
On the danzón rhythm, basically what I was doing was adapting a basic funk, or it wasn't really improvisational, but it was more of a funk rhythm around Walfredo's basic rhythm that he was playing. So I was trying to intertwine everything around and come up with a part that made sense, but it didn't get in the way, and I was leaving space for him to do his accents. So that's again what it's all about to me, is trying to make things work and not worrying about so much what to play authentically all the time. Okay, so, and that's not a very common rhythm amongst Americanized
латиноамериканскими ритмами, которые обычно играются ритм-секциями оркестров. Честно говоря, я раньше о нем ничего не слышал, пока мне Вольфредо о нем не рассказал. Интересно, что теперь я знаю, что это за ритм, и если я его услышу, то я уже знаю, что буду играть. Поскольку важнее то, что я могу его сыграть, чем то, знаешь ли ты, как он правильно называется или нет. Опять же, нужно быть способным учиться и разбираться в том, что собой представляют эти ритмы.
That basically, I think Walfredo can explain better than I, but my adaptation of it, I've been playing this type of style for quite a number of years with Michel Camilo and Chick Corea, different bands that I've been with over the past 7 or 8 years, and again, I've kind of adapted my own style to it, and basically funkifized it a little bit, if you will, and made it more into fusion, fusionistic type of situation. So, do you have anything to say about your part as far as the songo is concerned, or where it came from? Why don't you educate us a little bit about what the songo is and where it actually came from?
Songo was developed in Cuba in the late 60s, 70s by a drummer, as I mentioned before, a drummer percussionist of Quintana called Changuito.
His name, they call him Changuito.
We call him Changuito. And he developed the rhythm on the drum set first, and the patterns, and from then on playing with the band, it got more popular, many players began to adapt that to the drums after hearing him. But the way he explained it to me recently is that the congas have to always go with the basic rhythm of the
тот
drummer,
рисунок, который играете
the
вы,
pattern that you will
это
do, and it's like a turnaround
перевернутый
rhythm.
ритм
It's not your basic,
основных,
and that is what
и
blends
все это
together. So
перемешивается. Мы сейчас
we're going to
попробуем
try to
сыграть
do
сонго,
the
который
song of the
придумал
way
Чангита,
Changita would do
и мы
it,
посвятим
dedicated to
его ему.
Changita.
Замечательно.
So this is what I would
Итак,
do
вот
for a
что играю
songo
я,
pattern,
исполняя рисунок
one of my
сонго. Это
basic
один из
patterns that I
основных
might
моих
play.
рисунков, которые я могу здесь исполнить.
Okay, so for me, one of the things that I'm trying to incorporate now, for me, I've always played either 2 and 4 the upbeats with the hi-hat, or quarter notes, which
Или
is more
четвертые ноты, что не
uncharacteristic.
так характерно.
And now the bass drum pattern was, you know, that I was taught was to always play this. Which could be a fusion way of playing it. The way we saw Changito do it and the way that some new rhythms is to be able to play just one. And then also to add a 16th note on the bass drum, which was new for me and very interesting. The 16th note in between is a nice different thing. So there's many ways to do it. Now what I'm trying to get together now is the clave with the left foot. Whether you're playing 3-2, or whether it's in 2-3. So it's important to try and get that going, but really, as Walfredo's told me many times, the upbeat, the offbeats 2 and 4 is the most important thing to worry about as far as the groove in a songo pattern. Especially if you're unsure where the clave is.
Yeah, well, the clave you can hear.
Okay, so here's an example then of where the conga part, standard, authentic Cuban way of a songo, if the conga player knows what he's doing, right, in a songo pattern, if the pattern comes in at that part of the bar at the end of the phrase, then it leads to 1, then you know it's a 3-2. And if it's in the middle of the phrase, then you know it's a 2-3. So
I have to come in with you and hear
your
your
right.
where you're at.
So if I play something like this, right? So that was 2-3, and you notice he came in the middle of the bar with the dun, right? Now if I were to play, right now that was at the end of the bar. So that to me was more help in trying to distinguish where the actual clave was in the tune by listening for that conga part. And then the music also goes around it. So
the music, yeah, and the bass line.
Bass line.
Which is very important.
Right. So then the bass player also has to know what he's doing.
Oh, he's part of all this. We're not going to leave him out.
Right.
Very important part.
Right. So bass players, any of you, all you drummers out there studying this, get your bass players to listen to some authentic Cuban music as well.
Yeah, because if he starts playing 4 quarter notes, I mean, I'll kill him.
And there have been stories. Anyway, here's a musical example of the songo in use with the band. So do you apply many rudiments to percussion instruments?
I do. I apply the rudiments because that was my school in New York when I was growing up. So I did go through rudiments, I did go through a lot of books, and that has helped me immensely in playing, in applying. I have an approach of a drummer to the percussionist. You know, as you can see, I play a lot of things at the same time. So my approach is more of a drummer than a percussionist.
Now for me, when I approach playing. I mean, I came up learning rudiments too. I mean, I learned them, but when I play now, I don't really think about rudiments. I mean, do you still physically actually think about if you're going to play a double paradiddle or a...
No, I don't. I don't think about it, but it's funny because you could apply the hands of a double paradiddle, let's say, to the feeling of a 6/8 rhythm.
Right.
And it comes easier. Sometimes you want to do something and you will say, well, if I apply this rudiment to it, it's going to come out simpler for me, especially in fast tempos.
Well, this has been a really fun experience for both of us, I think, especially for me concerning the Latin rhythms. I hope you've all gotten something out of it. We've had a great time, and we're going to go now and finish up with one last tune, and have fun with the music. We'll see you later. Thanks, Dave.
Спасибо, Дэйв. Шестое чувство.
I'd just like to take this time to thank all the musicians who participated in the video. Admaro Ruiz on keyboards and John Pena on bass. They made this real special. We had a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully we're going to be playing a lot more together. So we had a great time. Just wanted to thank those guys and Walfredo as well. So hope you enjoyed it. See you later.
Этих парней, а также Вольфреда. Итак, надеюсь, это видео вам понравилось. До встречи.